Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem for Sean Combs will be the jury, when they see the video repeatedly, it's so awful and it goes right to the heart of his character. This is a man who will beat up a woman in a hotel corridor. From being a sort of open, slam dunk shut case for the feds to potentially a sensational acquittal.
Sean Diddy Combs has faced scandals before, but nothing prepared the world or the courtroom for what unfolded this week. The multi-platinum music mogul officially lost a critical round in court just days after an explosive exposé aired by Piers Morgan. The British broadcaster didn't just dig up dirt, he detonated a bomb. In a televised special watched by millions, Morgan revealed alleged details of Diddy's so-called X-rated freak-off ritual, a secretive and deeply disturbing routine that has now become central to the prosecution's case. Within 72 hours of the episode airing, the court issued a ruling against Diddy that could permanently alter the trajectory of the trial. This is the moment everything unraveled. For real-time updates on the case, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're following every twist as it happens.
So, Piers, I would say the last time I spoke to you, I said I wasn't sure whether or not the prosecution was going to be able to prove racketeering or...
From being a sort of open, slam dunk shut case for the feds to potentially a sensational acquittal.
The segment by Piers Morgan aired late Monday evening, titled Behind the Velvet Rope, Diddy's Secret Rituals. It featured chilling interviews with former insiders, bodyguards, assistants, and ex-partners who painted a picture of a lifestyle that went far beyond typical celebrity excess. The most damning? Allegations of private freak-off events involving hand-picked individuals, bizarre rituals, confiscated phones, and a code of silence enforced through fear, contracts, or worse. The exposé showed blurred footage, anonymous voiceovers, and leaked texts hinting at patterns of manipulation and psychological control. One interviewee referred to Diddy's mansion as a playground of obedience, where no one said no. Another described a night that started with champagne and ended in something resembling a cult initiation.
Racketeering, this criminal enterprise that Sean Combs led, prosecutors have to say there was a pattern of criminal activity, and they have...
From people who are following this, perhaps who know Diddy, who know the music scene, who know the characters involved here.
Within hours of the show airing, the video went viral, and the courtroom felt its shockwaves. Diddy's defense team rushed to do damage control, dismissing the broadcast as tabloid slander with no legal merit. But the prosecution seized the moment. On Tuesday morning, they filed a supplemental motion requesting that the court admit certain corroborating testimonies related to the exposé, citing emerging public interest and corroborative alignment with sealed witness accounts. The judge reviewed the motion behind closed doors. By Thursday, a decision had been made. The court ruled in favor of the prosecution. Key portions of testimony from previous sealed hearings would now be admissible in open court, specifically those linked to the behaviors Morgan's broadcast described.
This all goes to this general argument of whether she was coerced by Sean Combs. It's so awful, and it goes right to the heart of his character. This is a man who will beat up a woman in a hotel corridor.
It was a devastating blow to the defense. They had banked on keeping the most salacious elements under wraps, away from jurors. That firewall was gone. Inside the courtroom, Diddy appeared tense, gripping the edge of the table, jaw clenched. Gone was the smooth-talking mogul who once charmed entire industries. This was a man watching the machine he built begin to collapse. What's worse, the Piers Morgan special introduced names the public hadn't heard yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem for Sean Combs will be the jury, when they see the video repeatedly. If I was on a jury seeing that, it'd be very hard to get that out of my head.
People who had not testified but were reportedly subpoenaed. Two of them were seen entering the courthouse on Friday, surrounded by federal marshals and shielded from the press. Though their identities remain undisclosed, court insiders confirmed they were directly referenced in the freak-off rituals and could now be called as witnesses. The timing couldn't be worse for Diddy. Week 5 of his trial had already been marked by the mysterious delay of a key witness, Jane. That situation cast a shadow over the prosecution's momentum. But Morgan's exposé seemed to flip the energy of the entire case. Instead of looking like a man under fire from questionable sources, Diddy now appeared to be a figure whose secrets were crawling into the sunlight faster than he, or his legal team, could bury them. Public opinion shifted almost overnight. Hashtags like Diddy Exposed and Freak-Off Files trended across social media. Memes circulated mocking his denials. Even major sponsors quietly began scrubbing affiliations. One luxury brand deleted all references to past Diddy collaborations from their website. Behind the scenes, insiders say endorsement deals are being canceled and brand partnerships frozen until the case reaches resolution. The court's latest ruling doesn't convict Diddy, but it paves the way for more witnesses to share graphic, detailed accounts of what happened behind his mansion doors. And now, jurors will hear it all. That's a disaster for the defense, who had carefully crafted a narrative of consensual adult relationships and high-life eccentricities. Now, it's not about parties. It's about power, coercion, and systemic abuse. Diddy's legal team is reportedly preparing a motion to sever the trial, to split the criminal charges from the civil cases tied to emotional harm and coercive behavior. But legal experts say it's likely too late. Once the jury hears the testimonies connected to the rituals, it will be nearly impossible to draw clean lines between the charges. Emotion and morality will seep into every verdict. The bigger question remains: what else is coming? Sources close to the investigation say Piers Morgan's broadcast may have only scratched the surface. Multiple accusers, previously unwilling to speak, are now in contact with prosecutors. One source hinted at a second broadcast already in production, promising to include names of celebrities, politicians, and business tycoons who attended the infamous parties. Diddy, once seen as untouchable, a man above the consequences of his lifestyle, now faces the brutal glare of public scrutiny, armed with receipts and real courtroom consequences. The empire he built on swagger, spectacle, and music might not survive the next few weeks. As for the rest of the entertainment world, they're watching and waiting. No one wants to be the next name dragged into this vortex. Silence has become the new self-preservation strategy in Hollywood, but as this case grows darker, more names are expected to surface. And if Morgan's next episode delivers what insiders claim, it could crack open a scandal so wide it reshapes the music industry forever.